We are live. There we go. Okay. All right. We're going to go over the Stanford Artificial Intelligence Index Report 2025. The report is like 400 pages, so if you came here for the entire report, I'm sorry, it's not going to happen. Links in the description. We're going to go over the key takeaways, and then we're going to kind of skim through parts of the report. We're going to look at probably going to look at economy, science, medicine, policy, and governance. Mainly these three. I think that's interesting. Oh, and then public opinion. We'll look at public opinion because I like a public opinion. Okay, let's start with the key takeaways, and we'll go from there. So we'll go here. Okay, this came out a few days ago too, or maybe a week or so ago, just in terms of timeline. So, Stanford's it's called Human-Centered Artificial Intelligence. Hi. We believe AI is poised to be the most transformative technology of the 21st century, but its benefits won't be evenly distributed unless we guide its development thoughtfully. The AI Index offers one of the most comprehensive, data-driven views of artificial intelligence, recognized by trusted resource by global media, governments, and leading companies. AI Index equips policymakers, business leaders, and the public with rigorous, objective insights into AI's technical progress, economic influence, and social impact. All right. It's getting too cold now. Let me change my AC and then we'll be back. Okay. So let's look at top takeaways and then we'll jump into the actual report itself. Good. I am blocking some of it. Okay, actually. We'll find a better place once we actually start. Okay. AI performance on demanding benchmarks continues to improve. In 2023, researchers provided new benchmarks to test the limits of advanced AI systems. Just a year later, performance sharply increased. Scores rose by 18.8, 48.9, 67.3 percentage points on the following. Respectively, beyond benchmarks, AI systems have made major strides in generating high-quality video, and in some settings, language model agents that even outperformed humans in programming tasks with limited time budgets. Yeah. I kind of shit on benchmarks because I think they're kind of not right now. I think they measure definitely increased. You know, it going up is good, but overall, I think they're not a good practicality benchmark. I guess these more synthetic ones. It's not like how well it's being used in society. So I and also if the AI itself just scrapes the internet and finds answers and shit to the benchmarks, it kind of defeats the purpose. So I don't know. I think relying on benchmarks is whatever. I think what it does though is it gives people something to shoot, the developers, model trainers, whatever, it's something to shoot for. And I think that's kind of where it's useful, but using that as the sole measure of how good they're being used, especially in society, I feel like is not the best, but they're going up to say the least. Yeah, selecting the AI Index technical performance benchmarks versus humans. I mean, we're just starting to pass here human capability, and I think this really only considers 2024. So we're not really into the 2025. Yeah, because I mean, there's definitely been new ones since. Likely that's come out. Okay. AI is increasingly embedded in everyday life. From healthcare to transportation, AI is rapidly moving from the lab to daily life. In 2023, the FDA approved 223 AI-enabled medical devices, up from just 6 in 2015. On the roads, self-driving cars are no longer experimental. Waymo, one of the largest US operators, provides over 150,000 autonomous rides each week, while Baidu's affordable Apollo Go robotaxi fleet now serves more numerous cities in China. Interesting. Yeah, I mean, we're definitely seeing it. I think it's growing, but, we're still getting there. Number of AI medical devices approved by the FDA, but this is the kind of growth we need to see, And they also don't, I think there's probably, they don't say it, but this isn't necessarily specifically generative AI from what I'm, from what I take. Like the term AI is kind of an umbrella term. It's been, AI's existed in different forms for a while. I come from the business intelligence data science space. There's machine learning, which is kind of the basis for like more generative AI, neural nets and shit. Like those have existed for a while. It's more so the generative AI, which is the new, which is unlocking other things. But that's kind of, it seems like what, is the more modern AI. But this might be referencing other things from at least what I'm understanding. Business is all on AI, fueling record investment in usage as research continues to show strong productivity impacts. In 2024, U.S. private AI investment grew to $109 billion, nearly 12 times China's $9.3 billion, and 24 times the UK's $4.5 billion. Yeah, that's actually crazy. This is what, we just looked at the EU's AI acceleration plan. This is like what they're going to give total is like 100 billion. And like, this is only what the US has privately invested. I guess the private market is also going to provide some for the EU about what I'm talking about, but still. They got a ways to go. But even China though, 9.3 billion is like nothing. But again, I feel like China's mainly probably like, the CCP like pumps money in. Generative AI saw particularly strong momentum, attracting $33.9 billion globally in private investment, an 18.7% increase from 2023. AI business usage is also accelerating. 78% of organizations reported using AI in 2024, up from 55% the year before. Yeah, but this might not be like AI in the sense you think about like ChatGPT though. Like there's a lot of other use cases like recommendation engines, like the algorithm on like YouTube and social media, like those are essentially AI, but not like in the ChatGPT generative AI LLM sense. Meanwhile, a growing body of research confirms that AI boosts productivity and in most cases helps narrow skill gaps across the workforce. Totally. Share of respondents who say their organization uses AI in at least one function. Sources McKinsey and Company Survey 2024. We probably looked at this survey, if I'm being honest. But yeah, it's definitely going. Oh yeah, okay. So here we go. Gen AI. Thank you. They specify. But it's still up there. It's pretty much up there with normal AI. The US still leads in producing top AI models, but China is closing the performance gap. In 2024, US-based institutions produced 40 notable AI models, significantly outpacing China's 15 and Europe's 3. While the US maintains its lead in quality and quantity, Chinese models have rapidly closed the gap in quality. DeepSeek, Alibaba's Qwen, those have been pretty good. Performance differences on major benchmarks such as MMLU and human eval shrank from double digits in 2023 to near parity in 2024. Meanwhile, China continues to lead in AI publications and patents. At the same time, model development is increasingly global. with notable launches from regions such as the Middle East, Latin America, and Southeast Asia. Yeah. I think quantity only matters in the sense that there's just more competition, and so like that is a driving factor. But yeah, China's like, you know, the DeepSeek the DeepSeek moment, quote unquote, like that. I mean, that kind of like rattled the stock markets a bit, you know. So China's definitely like still, you know, up there, and there you have to think they're behind the scenes. They probably always have a better model coming out just because of how long it takes to train. So yeah, we don't actually really, you know, in 6 months there could be a crazy model, I guess, coming out from both sides, but still. Performance of top United States versus China models in LMSYS chatbot arena. It's negligible. Let's be real. This gap, 1385 to 1362. All right, the responsible AI ecosystem evolves unevenly. AI-related incidents are rising sharply, yet standardized responsible AI, I assume that's what RAI, evaluations remain rare among major industrial model developers. However, new benchmarks like Helm Safety, AirBench, and FACS offer promising tools for assessing factuality and safety. I think factuality is like probably kind of easy to benchmark, and like that's actually kind of a good benchmark. I guess it seems more easier to measure. Among companies, a gap persists between recognizing RAI risks and taking meaningful action. In contrast, governments are showing increased urgency. In 2024, global cooperation on AI governance intensified, with organizations including OECD, EU, UN, African Union releasing frameworks focused on transparency, trustworthiness, and core responsible AI principles. Yeah. I think the trust is important. Like when we talk about the technological advancement curve, trust is needed to get mass adoption and to get people to buy in and use a thing that, you know, will benefit themselves, but also society as a whole. I don't know if AI is there yet, but in general, you know, like getting more people on the internet benefits more than just themselves. You know, you could communicate and you're interconnected with the rest of the world. Like eventually AI is going to be that, you know, if everyone could use it to learn anything they want at any time, like that would probably benefit society, increasing knowledge and, you know, educating people. Report safety and responsibility AI benchmarks are popular foundation models. 01 toxic wild chat. It's like like compares you to Twitch chat. That's the benchmark. Is just like, are you more or less toxic than the average Twitch chat? Kidding. Most Twitch chats actually aren't that toxic. Let's be real. Just forcing chat. That's just what comes to mind every time. Just like, so I mean, OpenAI is actually kind of taking the lead on this. 3.7. Interesting. Yeah, not that many. And I guess, unfortunately, I was like, you know, I guess it doesn't mean that these are necessarily, like, just because you did the benchmarks, it doesn't mean they're necessarily safer, I guess. You know, the model. They are incentivized to probably not do it. No, I feel like they are incentivized to do it, you know? Then maybe that is bad. No. I mean, overall, it's probably good. It doesn't hurt to do them, to just prove it. But, I mean, the Chinese model is definitely not, like... they probably over-censor. Let's be real. Okay. Global AI optimism is rising, but deep regional divides remain. Countries like China, Indonesia, and Thailand Strong majorities see AI products and services as more beneficial than harmful. China being 83%, Indonesia 80%, Thailand 77%. In contrast, optimism remains far lower in places like Canada, United States, and the Netherlands. Still, sentiment is shifting. Since 2022, optimism has grown significantly in several previously skeptical countries, including Germany, France, Canada, Great Britain, and the United States. Yeah. Interesting that the United States has been the lowest. Probably, I think there's definitely like, the United States has like kind of a different worldview in the sense of, we have these like megacorps, capitalism, capitalism kind of like runs rampant. We just have like probably a more negative view of like, oh wow, if like a big tech gets a hold of this, like it's just gonna like be used against us in a way, I guess. Let's actually look at it though. Products and services using AI have more benefits than drawbacks by country, percent of total. Yeah, crazy. China's number one. See, this alone, this is the trust part that I'm talking about. Like, this might just be their, like, gives them that advantage, is that people are more willing to accept and use AI tools and products, which in turn likely will make you more productive, which in turn benefits the economy and, so forth and so on. This is interesting. Where's the United States? Dang, we're actually like one of the worst. That's interesting. We've looked at in the past the demographics of those who use AI, and it's usually like younger, male, educated. But just in general, if we assume that's like younger or like the more like kind of like progressive type, I guess. Not necessarily politically, but just like willing to try new things and like, be on the use cutting edge technology, use new technology. That's interesting. So I guess I'm like the demographic wise, like I wonder if just because like we have an old population, but like I feel like China also has an old population. Yeah, interesting. That's so interesting about the different, like how China is so much further ahead. I wonder, like what that is, like what the cause of that is, if there is a direct cause. AI becomes more efficient, affordable, and accessible. Driven by increasingly capable small models, the inference cost for a system performing at the level of GPT 3.5 dropped over 280-fold between November 2022 and October 2024. At the hardware level, costs have declined by 30% annually, while energy efficiency has improved by 40% each year. Open-weight models are also closing the gap, with closed models reducing the performance difference from 8% to just 1.7%. Yeah, and now we have Llama 4, which which just happened the other week or like the other day, so likely won't be on there, but it probably closed the gap even more. On some benchmarks in a single year, together these trends are rapidly lowering the barrier to advanced AI. Yeah, I think just a part of this going, like, again, referencing the technological adoption curve. I just want to pull it up here just so because we're likely going to talk about it more. This image works. So yeah, and the trust chasm here is important because when I say trust, this is what I mean is, there's a argument. This is like a theory, I guess, but there's an argument that once it gets to, we need to build up enough trust to kind of land a quote unquote beachhead on the mainstream market to continue momentum to continue to just continue more adoption. For example, like crypto, I keep using crypto because I don't think crypto has really made it into the more like mainstream market in the sense of what crypto is actually used for, like blockchain. You know, it's like as a speculative asset, is like gambling essentially. Hate me or not, but like, you know, it's kind of right. Sure, but like it's actually real life use cases of like the blockchain, the technology, smart contracts like behind crypto, in my opinion, hasn't really crossed this, partly because of people just don't trust it. You know, it's like we're getting all kinds of pump and dump schemes, especially now that the president has done that, you know, with like World Liberty Financial, where the fuck his, you know, Melania, they're not building trust with the public, which in turn makes it harder for mass adoption. Those who are, you know, don't usually use new technologies early on, and they're just it's just fuel for them. It's fuel for their fire to justify not using the technology or some sort of you know, trust disparity that they have. Anyways, too many tabs open. Close some tabs here. Anyways, as AI becomes, you know, as we get more adoption, it's going to be more efficient, affordable, and accessible. Now, unfortunately, that does sometimes come at the cost to the AI companies, at least the accessibility part, because as we get into this more mainstream market, to be able to get, you know, the more mainstream market to adopt and like use the actual technology, we need to make it easier to use. You know, like over here, like these people are tech enthusiasts. They have technical skills and knowledge that people in this, you know, category further down who will adopt the technology later don't have, that is required to use early technology. And from a business standpoint, it's like, you know, this is kind of your early target market because they have the skills you need as a business for them to use your product. Like you still need some existing technical knowledge. Like it's probably like via API or whatever. API, some like SDK you have to download and use, you know, whatever. And then as we kind of progress, as more people start using it, the company, you know, the business learns more, but they also make it easier to use. Now, it's not always the case, but generally it comes at the cost of complexity behind the scenes. It's like abstraction comes at the cost of complexity, meaning they're abstracting a lot of the technical know-how or technical knowledge that you need to use it previously now behind the scenes, in their code, in the product, and they're hiding it from the customer, and that usually comes at the cost of complexity. But it makes it easier to use, it makes it better for more people to use, which in turn gets you more users and so forth. So it's kind of necessary, it's just a matter of like managing that. I mean, tech debt is a whole thing in itself, but we're, you know, OpenAI like releasing ChatGPT and making it easy for everyone to just come and use AI, like that is overall good for the market to get more new people who wouldn't otherwise use it via an API or some sort of tool that you need to go and set up. That's, you know, how they could get more use cases to get more people to use it so they could get into more mainstream markets, which in turn become, you know, releases more use cases. It's kind of feeds into each other. So anyways, we're probably like AI's definitely already crossed this like beachhead. I think like it's definitely more mainstream now, thanks to the help of like things like Copilot, ChatGPT, but like even like Meta AI, like even though like as an enthusiast you are likely not using those, like it's just a way to get people who don't have this like insane tech knowledge to actually use the product. So like you should really want that. So anyways, we'll definitely see this trend probably as we continue to read. All right, governments are stepping up on AI with regulation and investment. Regulation also does play a part in the this curve here too. Generally, the more pragmatic, or early majority type, especially late majority, they do want standards and sometimes regulation before they take on a new technology, because they want it to be proven before they take on the risk of something new. Now, again, it's a risk that it will pay off, but some businesses are still just not willing to take that, or they don't have the money to spend. It's tighter budget, and so likely it's just not the best. They just don't have the money to potentially do it, so it's a lot bigger risk, I guess. So, yeah. So there is something to say about this, and standardization is also a big thing too. Not necessarily regulation. They just want some sort of standard so that if they invest in OpenAI, that eventually, if they want to switch off of OpenAI for whatever reason, they can, and they don't have to redo all of this stuff, because Anthropic follows the same standard that OpenAI does, so it makes it easy to do things. That's a lot of times what the mainstream market also really needs and wants. And it makes sense if you think about a business and think about the tariffs right now. It's the market's up and down because of uncertainty. When there's no standards or sometimes regulation, it kind of brings in uncertainty, which in turn kind of brings in more risk. So yeah, I guess argument to be made there too. Okay. Governments are stepping up on AI with regulation and investment. In 2024, U.S. federal agencies introduced 59 AI-related regulations. This is also isn't super relevant because Trump undid a lot of them. And more than double the number in 2023, and issued by twice as many agencies. Globally, legislative mentions of AI rose 21.3% across 75 countries since 2023, making it a 9-fold increase since 2016. Alongside growing attention, government are investing at scale. Canada pledged $2.4 billion, China launched $47.5 billion semiconductor fund, France committed $109 billion, India pledged $1.25 billion, Saudi Arabia Project Transcendence, represents $100 billion, of course. And we just covered yesterday, the EU is throwing in around another $100 billion or so. Not this. The EU Commission, the executive branch or whatever. I don't fully understand the EU politics, but they're committing more too, so yeah, it's continuing to go up. Number of AI related regulations in the United States. This has definitely gone back down. Okay. AI and computer science education is expanding, but gaps in access and readiness persist. 2/3 of countries are now offer or plan to offer K-12 CS computer science education, twice as many as in 2019, with Africa and Latin America making the most progress. But arguably, potentially, they do have probably the most low-hanging fruit just to catch up. So in the US, the number of graduates with bachelor degrees in computing has increased 22% over the last 10 years. Yet access remains limited in many African countries due to basic infrastructure gaps like electricity. Yeah, and excuse me. There's a direct correlation between societal productivity and electricity. So yeah, this is big. Or at least even light, not even necessarily electricity, but I think electricity too. In the US, 81% of K-12 teachers say AI should be part of foundational CS education, but less than half feel equipped to teach it. Dang, they can't. Not confident in teaching. That sucks. CS is mandatory in primary and secondary. Yeah, bro. Was that Russia and China, and some down here? CS in some schools and districts. Elective, mandatory in primary and secondary. Oh, I read that wrong. Wait. CS is an elective course everywhere. Okay, yeah. It's crazy that we don't even have it as an elective everywhere. growing up, like in my high school, I did not have any computer science coding thing. I took AP computer science, but I had to go to a different high school. Like the neighboring city I had to go over to. But that was literally the only one in like the entire like the region, unless you went to like a specialized like tutor or a college or a community college. But that was also like 12, 13 years ago. Thing. So it looks like Europe then is probably the best as for it being mandatory. And we got our partners down under. Probably like the joke is probably so old. It's probably like been used so much. I think it should be mandatory. Computers are a requirement. I can't believe they stopped teaching typing, believe it or not. I think they should even... I think like typing is such a valuable skill. Like typing at least like 50 words is, a minute. But like, bro, if you, like once you're like above like 70, 80, like it just like it's so much, it makes things so much better like to do on the computer. Like even in work, like I would literally take notes on my computer just because I could type way faster than I could write. That in itself is just useful. But yeah, I think they should be I think at least some computer skills. Not even necessarily computer science, just like computer skills. But I don't know, I think understanding how the machine works helps, but that's a lot of people don't care. So that's definitely not a force. I don't think we should force that on everybody. Okay, industry is racing ahead in AI, but the frontier is tightening. Nearly 90% of notable AI models in 2024 came from industry, up from 60% in 2023. Academia remains the top source of highly cited research. Model scale continues to grow rapidly. Training compute doubles every 5 months. Dang. Datasets every 8 and power use annually. Dang, power use doubles annually. Yet performance gaps are shrinking. The score difference between the top and 10th ranked models fell from 11.9 to 5.4% in a year, and the top two are now separated by just 0.7%. Frontier is increasingly competitive and increasingly crowded. Yeah. And it's unfortunately a race to the bottom in terms of people want the best model that's the cheapest. So it's like, you know, it's crazy. Performance models on, they don't even actually... OpenAI is not even on here, is it? Oh, yeah, here it is. Here they are. Google. In the AI 2027 report, they assumed that everyone else was 3 to 6 months behind OpenAI. And I think, though, like I kind of said earlier, like behind the scenes, like all of these companies, I'm sure, have other models that they're training, and just like testing and figuring out and developing, that are likely more powerful than the ones they released. So, yeah, it's competitive, I guess, is the point. AI earns top honors for its impact on science. AI's growing importance is reflected in major scientific awards. Two Nobel Prizes recognize work that led to deep learning physics, and to its application to protein folding chemistry, while the Turing Award honored groundbreaking contributions to reinforcement learning. Oh, this is the protein AlphaFold 3. First baseline for protein ligand. Ligand these nuts. Just kidding. Docking. I had to. I'm sorry. Complex reasoning remains a challenge. AI models excel at tasks like the International Mathematical Olympiad problems, but still struggle with complex reasoning benchmarks like Plan Bench. They often fail to reliably solve logic tasks even when provably correct solutions exist, limiting their effectiveness in high-stakes settings where precision is critical. Yeah. But, again, benchmarks, whatever. Also, I think, again, on the benchmark topic, I'm not to be, like, super anti-benchmark, but, like, OpenAI spent, like, a lot of times, what they use to pass the benchmark isn't exactly what you get as the product or model in return, like, when they release it. Like, the OpenAI spent hundreds of thousands of dollars in compute for, like, O3 high to solve, like, their these puzzle benchmarks and shit. So it's like, I guess it's not practical is the point. But yeah. All right. Okay. Let's continue. Okay, so actually we're actually probably just going to go through this then. Because if this goes through all chapters and it gives a summary, then we're going to do this because that's all I wanted to do anyways, really. We'll also like take a look here just to double check, but oh, it already has a chapter highlights here. Okay. Cool. Then we're just going to look at this here because it's fits better. And my camera's in a good spot. Break. Actually, I'm gonna use the restroom real quick and then we'll jump back into it. 2 minutes, BRB. All right, let's get back to it. All right, chapter 1, research and development. Some of these also just may not have much to say, I guess. Like I don't have much to say on like some of the other stuff, so we'll just go through it and I'll just like think out loud and just share random thoughts. But okay, industry continues to make significant investment in AI and leads in notable AI model development, while academia leads in highly cited research. Industry leads in notable model development, highlighted in 2 previous AI index reports, has only grown more pronounced, with nearly 90% of notable models in 2024 compared to 60% in 2023, or originating from industry. Ah, I see. Yeah, I now that there's like actually products being made, there's like money to be made, I guess. I imagine industry will probably just continue to be where most stuff comes out now. Like that makes sense. Academia has remained the single leading institutional producer of highly cited top 100 publications over the past 3 years. Or notable AI models by sector. China leads in AI research publication totals, while the United States leads in highly influential research. That's actually inverse to what we read previously, in the sense that the United States has released more models, but China arguably has released more quality, models. Or wait, no, that's the same as what we read. I don't remember. What did we read? Yeah, okay, so 40 models, Chinese 15. Yeah, sorry, it's the same. So yeah, this aligns, I guess, is the point. 2023 total of 149 foundation models are released, more than doubles the amount released in 2022. Of these newly released models, 65% were open source compared to 44% in 2022, 33% in 2021. Interesting. It's about the same. It's not that significant after. AI publication totals continue to grow and increasingly dominate computer science. Between 2013 and 2023, the number of AI publications in venues related to computer science and other scientific disciplines nearly tripled, increasing from approximately 102,000 to over 242,000. Proportionally, AI's share of computer science publications has risen from 21.6 in 2013 to 41.8 in 2023. You just go up. The United States continues to be the leading source of notable AI models. 2024, the US-based institutions produced 40 notable AI models, significantly surpassing China's 15 and Europe's combined total of 3. In the past decade, more notable machine learning models have originated from the United States than any other country. Yeah. We're in the lead right now. AI models get increasingly bigger, more computationally demanding, and more energy intensive. New research finds that training compute for notable AI models is doubling approximately every 5 months. Dataset sizes for training LLMs every 8 months, and power required for training annually. Large-scale industry investments continue to drive model scaling and performance gains. Yeah, training dataset size. Getting up there. Yeah, this is the big one. Interesting. AI models become increasingly cheaper to use. The cost of querying an AI model that scores the equivalent of a GPT 3.5 on MMLU, a popular benchmark for assessing language models' performance, dropped from $20 per million tokens in November to just 0.7 million per million tokens in October 2024. Using Gemini 1.5 Flash, 8B, 8 billion. A more than 280-fold reduction in approximately 18 months. Depending on the task, LLM inference prices have fallen anywhere from 9 to 900 times per year. I wonder, though, if this is the actual cost of the company or just their offering price of it, you know? Inference price per million. In USD per million. You got Microsoft's fee 4s down here. It's interesting. AI patenting is on the rise. Between 2018 and 2023, the number of AI patents has grown steadily and significantly, ballooning from 3,833 to 121,511. In just the last year, the number of AI patents has risen to 29.6. As of 2023, China leads in total AI patents, accounting for 69.7% of all grants, while South Korea and Luxembourg stand out as top AI patent producers on a per capita basis. Wonder what what are they patenting? Like the algorithm or like a product that uses AI? Hardware gets faster, cheaper, and more energy efficient. New research suggests that machine learning hardware performance measured in 16-bit floating point operations has grown 43% annually, doubling every 1.9 years. Dang, 43% annually. Wait, doubling every 2 years is crazy to think about. This will continue likely to trend up. Because we've essentially broken Moore's law. Far outpaced it. Price performance has improved, with cost dropping 30% per year, while energy efficiency has increased by 40% annually. Price performance of leading NVIDIA data centers. GPUs for machine learning. Yeah. And there, there's the new GB200s. Is likely exceeds this. Carbon emissions from AI training are steadily increasing. Yeah. There's definitely a big argument for environmental impact with AI, just with how much energy we're using, and how we unfortunately do need to, they're going to fossil fuels instead of renewables to get power, just because there's nothing else that we could do. Renewables are not that good for this. We need constant energy. Training early AI models such as AlexNet had the modest amounts of carbon emissions at 0.1 tons. In contrast, more recent models have significantly higher emissions for training. GPT-3 in 2020, 588 tons, GPT-4, 5,184 tons, and Llama 3.1 at 8,900 tons. For perspective, the average American emits 18 tons of carbon per year. Dang. Yeah. But, unfortunately, we just need to be better. The ship has already sailed, unfortunately. It's yeah. We need to just use technology to help us with carbon emissions and such. But I think the, AI or Google, Microsoft, they're pretty good. They're trying to be carbon neutral, I guess, which is a start. So even if it is them just planting trees or whatever, it's it's better than nothing, I guess. As shitty as that logic is. But it sucks. And this is likely much more. Okay. Chapter 2. Technical performance. AI masters new benchmarks faster than ever. Them and their benchmarks. We kind of already looked at this, though. Yes, they're getting good at passing benchmarks. Open weight models catch up. Last year, AI Index revealed that leading open weight models lagged significantly behind their closed weight counterparts. By 2024, this gap had nearly disappeared. In early January 2024, the leading closed-weight models outperformed the top open-weight models by 8% on the Chatbot Arena leaderboard. By February 2025, this gap narrows to 1.7. I think we also read that too. Yeah, the gap between Chinese and US models closes. Take a look at that. AI model performance converges at the frontier. ELO score difference between the top and 10th ranked models of Chatbot Arena was 11.9%. By early 2025, this gap narrowed just to 5.4%. We also took a look at this in the intro. Okay, new reasoning paradigms like test time compute improve model performance. Yes, everything is a thinking model now. That's just the baseline. At least that's what it seems like. Also, notably though, the Llama 4 was not. So that's interesting. But I guess you don't necessarily need it. In 2020, and especially if it's just for... If it, like, most people probably don't need a thinking, like, you know, the thinking model, like, their questions are just like the equivalent of a internet search. But for more logical coding, problem solving, strategic, anything that requires just like higher level thinking in real life, probably could use it. In 2024, OpenAI introduced models like O1 and O3 that are designed to iteratively reason through their outputs. Yeah. Test time compute approach dramatically improved performance, with O1 scoring 74.4% on International Mathematical Olympiad qualifying exam, compared to GPT-4O's 9.3%. However, this enhanced reasoning comes at a cost. O1 is nearly 6 times more expensive and 30 times slower than GPT-4o. Yeah, I think the speed only really matters if you're running it like locally. I'd rather have it be smarter but take longer, as you know, assuming we're not waiting like hours, but I don't see this like a super negative. So, okay, more challenging benchmarks are continually proposed. Humanity's last exam. The saturation of traditional AI benchmarks, like, and this is what I was kind of like talking about, where it's like they're not the best use to measure use cases anymore, or measure performance. I feel like the saturation of traditional benchmarks like MMLU, GSM8K, and human eval, coupled with improved performance on newer, more challenging benchmarks such as MMU and GPQA, has pushed researchers to explore additional evaluation methods for leading AI systems. Notably, among these are Humanity's Last Exam, a rigorous academic test where the top system scored just 8.8%. Frontier Math, a complex mathematic benchmark where AI systems solve only 2% of problems. Yeah, this one's made by Epoch AI, who's actually, they provided a lot of data I've been noticing for these reports. And Big Code Bench, a coding benchmark where AI systems achieve a 35.5% success rate, well below the human standard of 97%. This is hard. But this is how like benchmarks I feel like should kind of be now, especially if like everyone's just like scoring like high 90s or, you know, whatever. It's like we need something new. High quality AI video generators demonstrate significant improvements. In 2024, several advanced AI models capable of generating high quality videos from text inputs were launched. Notable releases include OpenAI's Sora, Stable Video Diffusion 3D and 4D. 4D? Whoa, what? Meta's Movie Gen, Google's DeepMind VO2. There's also Runaway AI, which released one recently. That was really good. These models produced videos of significantly higher quality compared to those from 2023. And this is kind of subjective, but interesting. Smaller models drive stronger performance. In 2022, the smallest model registering a score higher than 60% on MLU was PALM. What is PA language model? No, not whatever. Bro, I can never, like, when I was looking at AI 2027 report, like, I was just, like, skipping through it back, and I was like, there's, like, an acronym, like, RL, and like, looking back, I was like, oh, it's reinforcement learning, but, like, in the moment, I was like, does this stand for, like, real life? I'm sure I'll have the moment. I don't remember what it stands for. Try one more time. So, Google's PALM. So it looks like the language model from Google. I want to know what the PA stands for. By 2024, Microsoft's V3 Mini, with just 3.8 billion parameters, achieved the same threshold. This represents a 442-fold reduction in over 2 years. Yeah, and I think, like, realistically, like, this is probably where everyone else is going to be racing. Like, people just want the cheapest, which is likely the smallest model for best performance. I've used a Phi 3 locally, and they're actually like, Phi 3. They're not like horrible. Like they're just like llama. Complex reasoning remains a problem. Even though the addition of mechanisms such as chain of thought reasoning has significantly improved the performance of LLMs, these systems still cannot reliably solve problems for which provably correct solutions can be found using logical reasoning, such as arithmetic and planning, especially on instances larger than those they were trained on. This has significant impact on the trustworthiness of the systems and their suitability in high-risk applications. Yeah, that's... Logic reasoning should theoretically be kind of one of the easiest ones, just because, like, it's logical. There's a correct answer. That's not objective. Again. Makes sense, 01's on here. AI agents show early promise. The launch of RE Bench in 2024 introduced a rigorous benchmark for evaluating complex tasks for AI agents in short time horizon settings, 2-hour budget. The top AI systems score 4 times higher than human experts. But at the same time, budget increases, human performance surpasses AI. Outscoring its 2-to-1 at 32 hours. AI agents already match human expertise in selected tasks such as writing Triton kernels while delivering results at lower costs. I don't know what Triton... Like kernel for a... GPU programming for neural networks. Interesting. This is human. Interesting. I feel like, though, this is like just a matter of like... I guess I don't know what the benchmark is, but I feel like with agents, it's just like how good your tools are you give it. Okay. That was technical performance. Let's go to chapter 3. Responsible AI. Bro, it gets so cold so quick in here when I turn the AC on. Evaluating AI systems with responsible AI criteria is still uncommon, but new benchmarks are beginning to emerge. Last year, AI Index highlighted the lack of standardized RAI benchmarks for LLMs. While the issue persists, new benchmarks such as Helm, Safety, and AirBench help fill this gap. Helm Safety mean score. DeepSeek R1. Didn't do the best. 01, 3.5 Sonnet, 03 Mini. These are the best. Makes sense, I guess. The numbers of AI incident reports continue to increase. According to the AI incidents database, the number of reported AI-related incidents rose to 233 in 2024, a record high, and a 56% increase in 2023. Bro, what is an AI incident? The AI incident database. I've not heard of this. This? Oh, yeah, people using it. Okay. I should add this to the my reports. Let's just like read like alleged deepfake, published policy featuring erroneous AI generated citations. Okay, like these are like yeah. Technology is dual use. It could be used for good, it could also be used for bad. It's up to, you know, governments and kind of society to implement rules to limit the bad uses of it. But obviously, while emerging technology is being figured out, there's going to be use cases that are not good. But it doesn't mean it's like bad technology, you know? It's like, you know, cars are used to run people over. It's like, it doesn't mean all cars are bad. I guess that's just, I don't know. I mean, yeah, it's interesting. It's interesting though that they're like, this is recording, or they're like recording all of this. Even though like I feel like some of these are just kind of whatever. Like it's like deepfake, like misinformation, like AI generated videos. Organizations acknowledge RAI risk, but mitigation efforts lag. A McKinsey survey of organizations' RAI engagement shows that while many identified key RAI risks, what is? Am I crazy? What is RAI? Responsible AI. Sometimes they use acronyms that like make no sense. Like, come on, like you can't just create an acronym of everything. Organizations' responsible AI engagement shows that while many identified key responsible AI risks, I assume that's what RA stands for also. Responsible AI. Not all are taking active steps to address them. Risks include inaccuracy, regulatory compliance, and cybersecurity were top of mind leaders, with only 64, 63, and 60% of respondents actively or respectively citing them as concerned. Dang, even cybersecurity, because like this one is like timeless. You know, it's like it doesn't matter. Like this, like it's not like this is a new thing. I guess like these have always been a risk. So it's crazy that like half them have only mitigated it essentially. Physical safety, yeah, it's probably the least. Political stability, national security, interesting. But the fact that they have knowledge of it and they're not doing anything is like... it's interesting, I guess. We'll say that. Across the globe, policymakers demonstrate a significant interest in RAI. In 2024, global cooperation on AI governance intensified with the focus on articulating agreed-upon principles for responsible AI. Several major organizations, including the OECD, European Union, United Nations, and African Union, publish frameworks to articulate key RAI concerns such as transparency and explainability and trustworthiness. I think we already covered that. The data commons is rapidly shrinking. I'm actually glad they said the word data commons because I've actually written about this in my newsletter Technomicon. I wrote about data commons, or I wrote about digital commons about a year or so ago, and I talked about how digital commons, which are places like Wikipedia, arguably the internet itself is a common area, but it's something that is like maintained by the people who use it, and it's not usually for profit, although it could be. But they are... AI is not following the kind of rules of the internet, like these robots.txt right here. There's existing standards in place to share whether you want to allow someone to scrape your website or not, i.e. to show up on like Google so it could show up on search, or just in this case something harvesting your data to use in some nefarious thing potentially, like not following copyright and licensing and shit like that. But more so, it's that they're hounding these websites, and this costs them money via bandwidth and the resources that they use to host where they host the website. That costs them money, and especially if it's a free type of, you know, open common thing like open source software, Wikipedia. Those all cost the, you know, the hoster money. And there's been so many reports about how they're hounding websites so much that they literally have to block, like they're have to take things in their own hands and block them via, you know, nefarious ways that is not going to benefit the AI company, but because they're hounding them, it's like, bro, what else do you want them to do? So this is a big one. AI models rely on massive amounts of publicly available web data for training. A recent study found that data use restrictions increased significantly from 2023 to 2024 as many websites implemented new protocols to curb data scraping for AI training. In actively maintained domains, in the C4 Common Crawl dataset, the proportion of restricted tokens jumped from 5 to 7% to 20 to 33%. This decline has consequences for data diversity, model alignment, and scalability, and may also lead to new approaches to learning with data constraints. Yeah. Percent of tokens in the top website domains of C4 by robots.txt restrictions. Robots.txt is just a way to share what you can and cannot scrape on a website, but it's not like official like law. It's kind of just like an agreed upon standard. Here's like my website bbellini.io. I just have one. I just told him not to. This right here tells every bot with user agent to not scrape my website because this is just not a public website. I don't really care, just my start page. So, but you could have it more. Like if we go to like Wall Street Journal, we could see that they have a lot more in here, and that like they have licensing, whatever. They have sitemaps so that the bots could go and like crawl it, and they don't have to like take down their websites. But they're blocking access to these sites here, or these pages on their website. And then these are them blocking specific bots. Now, like this is like blocking Twitter bot. Here's like Anthropic, Cohere AI, Byte. This one of these is like ByteDance, but like Claude, Anthropic. They likely changed the user agent names to get around this, but they also just don't have to follow it. It's funny how they block News Now. Like, how did they? Independent news discovery platform. Interesting. Actually, I'll look at this later. Actually, I could use this. But yeah, the block Perplexity. What's News Please? News Please. Interesting. Yeah, I got blocking Meta, Apple. Anyways, AI companies just don't like following that, so. Foundation model research transparency improves, yet more work remains. The updated Foundation Model Transparency Index, a project tracking transparency in the Foundation model ecosystem, revealed that the average transparency score among major model developers increased from 37% in October 2023 to 58% in May 2024. While these gains are promising, there's still considerable room for improvement. Interesting. Yeah, I mean, I think though, notably, even in the open models, like with like Llama, Mistral, like we don't know the data they trained on, so it's like there could be still biases built in and everything. There could, there's stuff that they still don't share when they just give weights, I guess. So even though it's more than most, it's still like actually not that much, I guess, at least in my opinion. Better benchmarks for factuality and truthfulness. Earlier benchmarks like Halu Eval, Truthful QA, aimed at evaluating the factuality and truthness of AI models, have failed to gain widespread adoption within the AI community. I mean, likely though, because AIs suck at being factual. Like that's one thing. They're still like they hallucinate still. So like they're definitely much better. But like, would I 100% fully trust like what AI like spits out like all the time now? But I guess I don't even trust that with like humans too. So, in response, newer and more comprehensive evaluations have emerged, such as the updated Hughes hallucination evaluation model leaderboard, FACS, in simple QA. Yeah, okay. I guess like, oh, this is a hallucination rate. I mean, like 3% is pretty low still, but I guess for something that like has all knowledge of of the internet essentially in there, the fact that it still doesn't give you the right answer, I guess like it's is the other side of it, but whatever. They'll get there. It's improving. AI-related election misinformation spread globally, but its impact remains unclear. Yeah, I guess I don't really. I probably have like more like harsh opinions on this, but I mean it's going to happen, but like it's no different with any technology. Like I don't know. I think the argument isn't like it's kind of just whatever. But I could see how people like see it as bad, but it's you got to hold that same logic then to other technology. In 2024, numerous examples of AI-related election misinformation emerged in more than a dozen countries across over 10 social media platforms, including during the U.S. presidential election. However, these questions remain about measurable impacts of this problem, with many expecting misinformation campaigns to have affected elections more profoundly than they did. Okay, then I guess it's like, yeah, I don't know. I guess like there's no different. The only difference I feel like with misinformation is that you could produce more of it because AI could just do it for you, and you don't have to sit like a human to come up with it. But otherwise, it's like, I guess what else really change? Like anyone could make anything up to begin with and spread that. LLMs trained to be explicitly unbiased continue to demonstrate implicit bias. Yeah, I mean before this we looked at Meta, how they're trying to like Llama 4 is like more like left leaning, and they're trying to make it more like right leaning to get more like discussion with it. I feel like they don't actually care, and they're just doing this just so Trump doesn't get mad at them. And we Zuckerberg is essentially flip flopping and just like is like changing all policy now to be in line with like Trump's views. So it's kind of anyways, yeah. LMs trained to be explicitly unbiased can demonstrate implicit bias. Many advanced LMs, including GPT-4 and Claude 3 Sonnet, were designed with measures to curb explicit biases, but they continue to exhibit implicit ones. The model disproportionately associates negative terms with Black individuals, more often associates women with humanities instead of STEM fields, and favors men for leadership roles, reinforcing racial and gender biases in decision making. Although bias metrics have improved on standard benchmarks, AI model bias remains a pervasive issue. Yeah, I mean that's going to be the big downside of this. It's likely also a factor of what data they feed it. That's kind of where it's like the actual data they feed it for like the transparency is important, because if you only feed it data that is like related to one of these things, then it'll obviously have that bias. You kind of need to balance it out, or at least give it reinforce it, train it in some way to like not necessarily think that. I don't know, that it definitely seems hard. So it's like I don't really know how to fully solve this, but yeah. Look at this llama too, like like honestly, like it might be working what Zuck's doing. I guess here's this one though, it gets goes up and down. Interesting. Okay. Responsible AI gains attention from academic researchers. The number of RAI papers accepted at leading AI conferences increased by 28.8% from 992 in 2023 to 1,278 in 2024, continuing a steady annual rise in 2019. This upward trend highlights the growing importance of RAI in the AI research community. Yeah, I don't think it's like a... I don't think anyone wants to make a dangerous AI, like, unless you are like, you know, a terrorist organization or something. Like, I don't think OpenAI is like trying to make a dangerous AI, nor is Google or Microsoft. So I don't. It's yeah. I don't know. I guess it's like I don't think we're at a point yet where we should like we need to like slow down, I guess, for AI safety. Regulation, sure, but like actual like imposing like regulation to make them slow down, like or to slow them down on purpose. I don't think that's good. Definitely not good. Okay, we got the economy. This is where I decided to read about. That's mainly I like more economic impact stuff cover on stream, just because I think it affects people more day to day. It's more interesting because there's real effects on it. Okay, then economy, science, medicine. Okay. Global private AI investment, actually going to stand, hits record high with 26% growth. Yeah, we've seen report time and time again about just a lot of spending specifically on like data centers and generative AI. I know this, it seems like here it's like maybe more broad. Corporate investment reached 252.3 billion in 2024, with private investment climbing 44% and mergers and acquisitions up 12.1%. From the previous year, the sector has experienced dramatic expansion over the past decade, with total investment growing more than 13-fold since 2014. Yeah, this, I mean, I imagine this will also continue to go up. Like, private investment, mergers and acquisitions. And I imagine I think I had this take previously, but I imagine acquisitions will continue to like go up, especially as startups that were created within the last few years like realize that they're not gonna be the next big thing, are running out of money, whatever, don't find their product market fit. They're probably going to want to sell to a bigger company who's making more money, or just an AI company that could use them. So I imagine that will continue to trend upwards, especially as like VCs like are kind of force them to probably divest in some way, or like force a startup to like get their shit together. Generative AI funding soars. Private investment in generative AI reached 33.9 billion in 2024, up 18.7% from 2023, over 8.5 times higher than 2022 levels. The sector now represents more than 20% of all AI-related private investment. Yeah, lots of money. I wonder if we'll just keep this pace though. Like, I wonder how long we'll keep investing this much in AI, if that will continue to go up. Or if it'll just be more like mergers and acquisitions. I guess funding is different, but okay. The U.S. widens its lead in global AI private investment. U.S. private AI investment hit 109 billion in 2024, nearly 12 times higher than China's 9.3 billion and 24 times UK's 4.5. Yeah, we looked at this already. Even more pronounced in generative AI, where U.S. investment exceeds the combined total of that of China and the European Union plus UK by an addition by 25.4 billion, up from 21 billion in 2023. Yeah, U.S. has a lot of money to spend. Use of AI climbs to unprecedented levels. We also already took a look at this. There are respondents who say their organization uses AI in at least one function. AI is beginning to deliver financial impact across business functions, but most companies are early in their journeys. Yep, makes sense. Most companies that report financial impact from using AI within a business function estimate the benefits as being at low levels. 49% of respondents whose organizations use AI in service operations report cost savings, followed by supply chain management, 43%, and software engineering, 41%. But most of them report cost saving of less than 10%. With regard to revenue, 71% of respondents using AI in marketing and sales report revenue gains, 63% supply chain, 57% service. The most common level of revenue increase is less than 5%. I don't imagine you'd see like immediate use of revenue increase, because it's like, I guess, like, you know, if it's there to increase productivity, then like, you know, you have more places, you know, more time that your employees could use to do things. You still have to come up with things to make like the use of the time, like, or make it like productive that could have a direct increase in revenue. I think though, like, you know, people kind of think like it'll just come, like, you get AI implemented into your organization and it just like takes jobs away. Like it like solves 100% of a job, but that's likely not always the case. Even with like customer service shit, like it doesn't always still, you know, solve the problem, I guess. Marketing and sales. Cost decrease and revenue increase from analytical UI. Yeah, and I mean, marketing is just like text. Makes sense. Product and service development, supply chain inventory management, service operations. Yeah, it's interesting. But I imagine it takes a while for this, like, to continue. It takes a while for it to them actually like integrate it and like use it to save money. Like it's not like it's snap your fingers and it happens, I guess. Okay, use of AI shows dramatic shifts by region, with Greater China gaining ground. While North America maintains its leadership in organizations' use of AI, Greater China demonstrated one of the most significant year-over-year growth rates, with 27 percentage point increase in organizational AI use. Europe followed with a 23% percentage point increase, suggesting a rapid evolving global AI landscape and intensifying international competition in AI implementation. AI uses by organizations in the world. 2023 versus 2024. Big. But the developing markets have also had a really big boost. I think India is like gonna be a probably big AI user. China's dominance in industrial robotics continues despite slight moderation. In 2023, China installed 267,000 industrial robots, 6 times more than Japan, and 7.3 times more than the United States. Since surpassing Japan in 2013, when it accounted for 20.8% of global installations, China shares has risen 51%. While China continues to install more robots than the rest of the world combined, its margin narrowed slightly in 2023, marking a modest moderation in its dramatic expansion. Yeah, I mean, it does. China's like manufacturing is just a large part of their economy, so like it makes sense that they would install a lot more industrial robots than other people, I guess. Like I think, and I imagine it's still like, even if you use like percentages, it's still probably high, but I don't know, the situations matter, I guess. Just their economy is different. I mean, now though, now's the time for the US, I guess, if Trump wants to like bring manufacturing, and if people actually do start building manufacturing locations in the United States, then it would be like some, I guess it wouldn't really be ironic, but the fact that they're like touting manufacturing jobs coming to the United States, but then the company just like use robots and there's like not that many jobs, actually, like it would be ironic. And I could see that happening. So, okay. But I guess though, importantly, this more so just gives them experience. So like eventually when the United States does catch up, China will just have probably more experience with robotics. We just looked at Unitree their robot before this, but yeah. So, anyways, collaborative and interactive robot installations become more common. In 2017, we saw collaborative robots represent a mere 2.8% of new industrial robot installations, a figure that climbed to 10.5% in 2023. Similarly, 2023 saw a rise in service robots installation across application categories, except for medical robotics. This trend indicates not just an overall increase in robotics installations, but also a growing emphasis on deploying robots for human-facing roles. Number of industrial robots installed in the world by type. I mean, all things considered, it's still like not that many. Like we're just like in the hundreds. Okay, this is in the thousands. There we go. So I was like, wait, what? Okay. 500,000. And collaborative. Not that many. Yeah, that isn't. The collaborative is interesting, I guess, because... But I don't imagine that necessarily will grow up either, because... For a human to interact with a robot, I think there's like obviously a lot of like safety stuff, but I'm sure there's a lot of like programming and like other type of logic requirement that is more complicated than just robot to robot, because it's predictable. But it's interesting. AI is driving significant shifts in energy sources, attracting interest in nuclear energy. Covered this a lot on stream here. Microsoft announced $1.6 billion deal to revive the 3 Mile Island nuclear reactor to power AI, while Google and Amazon have also secured nuclear agreements to support AI operations. Yep, this is just gonna keep going up. They need a lot of power for all their data centers they're building and all the GPUs they need to train AI. So AI boosts productivity and bridges skill gaps. Last year, AI Index was among the first reports to highlight research showing AI's positive impact on productivity. This year, additional studies reinforce those findings, confirming that AI boosts productivity and in most cases helps narrow the gap between low and high-skilled workers. Impacts of AI on scientific innovation. New materials, patent findings, product prototypes. Product prototypes, I think, are going to go up, especially vibe coding, like software. Like that's, you could make an MVP in, a weekend. And it's fun. It's fun to do. Okay. Science and medicine. Bigger and better protein sequencing models emerge. In 2024, several large-scale, high-performance protein sequencing models, including ESM3 and AlphaFold 3, were launched. Over time, these models have grown significantly in size, leading to continuous improvements in protein prediction accuracy. Base preference tune. I don't know, just kind of traditional science. I have nothing to say. So biology, chemistry, physics, and that's about it. AI continues to drive rapid advancements in scientific discovery. AI's role in scientific progress continues to expand, while 2022 and 2023 marked early stages of AI-driven breakthroughs. 2024 brought in even greater advancements, including Aviary, which trains LLM agents for biological tasks, and Firesat, which significantly enhances wildfire prediction. That's cool. One thing is interesting, I guess, with like the more traditional like science is that of course this is Google. This is actually like kind of soon. Cool. Actually, I might take a look at this on stream. Just bookmark it. Looks neat. Training an AI to do research is likely a part of a that's what AI 2027, that's kind of like their entire prediction is leaning on OpenAI and like AI companies using AI to make an AI that could do research faster than humans, which would increase things like this. But this is like where like we could see like long-term benefits to humanity with AI in terms of like medicine, which is like medicine's arguably humanity's greatest invention. So yeah, this is cool. Performance of LLM's language model to solve tasks using aviary environments. About 3.5 sonnet. The clinical knowledge of leading LLMs continues to improve. OpenAI recently released O1 set a new state-of-the-art 96% on the MedQA benchmark, a 5.8% percentage point gain over the best scores posted in 2023. Since late 2022, performance had improved 28 percentage points. MedQA is a key benchmark for assessing clinical knowledge, may be approaching saturation, signaling the need for more challenging evaluations. I mean, yeah, if you're scoring 96%, like, is scoring 100% even... Does that matter? Does that change anything? That's cool, though. Getting good. Bro, like, in America, we kind of need this. Like, I'm sure the amount of time wasted at hospitals over dumb shit is, like, high. So the fact that, like, you could hopefully get, like, simple stuff diagnosed, that, or, like, at least some filter for the doctors, I don't know, that seems, like, kind of good, especially considering how expensive it is and how much we need more, I don't know, I would say competition, but, like, I don't know, we just need to drive prices down for healthcare. AI outperforms doctors on key clinical tasks. A new study found that GPT-4 alone outperformed doctors, both with and without AI, in diagnosing complex clinical issues. Other recent studies show AI surpassing doctors in cancer detection and identifying high mortality risk patients. However, some early research suggests that AI-doctor collaboration yields the best results, making it a fruitful area of further research. I imagine, yeah, AI-doctor collaboration makes sense. But also, like, it's just kind of a meme, like, you go to the doctor and you're, like, telling, like, him what's wrong, or her what's wrong, and then they're just, like, typing it into WebMD, and there's like, oh, okay, yeah, interesting, yeah, like, okay, well, you know, my... hundreds of thousands of dollars later, and years later, my PhD, you know, I type this in, now I type what I need into WebMD. It's like, thanks. So, anyways. It's still only, like, marginally. Interesting. The number of FDA-approved AI-enabled medical devices skyrocket. FDA authorized its first AI-enabled medical device in 1995. By 2015, only 6 such devices had been approved, but the number spiked to 223 by 2023. Had a good year for 2008 of 5 devices. Synthetic data shows significant promise in medicine. Studies released in 2024 suggest that AI-generated synthetic data can help models better identify social determinants of health, enhance privacy preserving clinical risk prediction, and facilitate the discovery of new drug compounds. Yeah, this will be cool. New drug compounds. What's, like, the next GLP-1? The next, like, Ozempic? Just, like, solves a bunch of problems. Medical AI ethics publications are increasing year over year. Number of publications on ethics in AI and medical AI quadrupled from 2020 to 2024, rising from 288 in 2020 to 1,031 by 2024. Interesting. Foundation models come to medicine. In 2024, a wave of large-scale medical foundation models were released, ranging from general-purpose multimodal models like MedGemini to specialized models such as EchoClip for echocardiology and Chex Agent for radiology. I imagine we'll probably get more specialized models. Just, it makes sense as we figure out that, like, until we get AGI, like, a centralized model is probably not the best form. I guess that's kind of like what mixture of experts kind of solves in a way when having a single large model, but still. Okay, publicly available protein databases grow in size. Why is this one bolded? Since 2021, the number of entries in major public protein science database has grown significantly. 31%, 23%, and 585% AlphaFold. AlphaFold's, I mean, it's the only one I've actually heard of, but seems like it's popular. This expansion has important implications for scientific discovery. Line go up. AI research wins 2 Nobel Prizes. 2024 AI-driven research received 2 top honors with 2 Nobel Prizes awarded for AI-related breakthroughs. Google Gemini's DeepMind's Demis Hassabis and John Jumper won the Nobel Prize in Chemistry for their pioneering work on protein folding and AlphaFold. Meanwhile, Google owns AlphaFold? Is that... or that's like part of Google? That's probably why I've heard of it. Yeah, DeepMind. Ah, okay. Meanwhile, John Hopfield and Geoffrey Hinton received the Nobel Prize in Physics for their foundational contributions to neural networks. Sweet. Okay, policy and governance. This is where I am interested to see. Dang, it's like hella short too. I like, I'm curious, like, I'm just a bro, you know, I'm just an enthusiast. I follow the news a lot. Like, I've experienced, you know, as a data analyst and business intelligence analyst and, like, you know, optimizing workflows and processes and systems and companies, whatever, but I like hearing other people's opinion on things I don't really, like, have direct experience in. I'm curious to see what people, like, you know, what non-AI safety experts, because I feel like the safety experts are really the only people pushing for, like, meaningful legislation. I'm curious what other people think we need right now. I don't think we need much, but yeah, and this is, like, not the best. Okay, this is by states. I'll say earlier we looked at the executive ones, but Trump has undid a lot of those since this like has the data has been collected, so I don't know how relevant it is, but okay. Anyways, I want to hear from the experts about, like, this policy and governance stuff, but not necessarily safety experts, because we know what they're going to say, I guess. Bro, literally as soon as I turn my AC off, it gets hot, but then as soon as I turn it on, it gets immediately cold. U.S. states are leading the way on AI legislation amid slow progress at the federal level. In 2016, only one state-level AI-related law was passed, increasing to 49 by 2023. In the past year alone, that number was more than doubled to 131. While proposed AI bills at the federal level have also increased, the number passed remained low. Yeah, notably, most of what was said before was, like, just via cabinet level, like, proposals and them talking about it, and also executive branch, Biden. Governments across the world invest in AI infrastructure. Here we go. Okay. Yeah, we just talked about just yesterday we saw the EU, we covered the EU's AI gigafactory plan. I don't even, there's like 10 names for it, like, in the thing, but they're investing more now to really just be less dependent on the United States, but also to just make more homegrown AI models. Canada announced $2.4 billion AI infrastructure package, while China launched a $47.5 billion fund to boost semiconductor production. France committed $117 billion AI infrastructure. India pledged $1.25 billion. Saudi Arabia's Project Transcendence includes a $100 billion investment in AI. Across the world, mentions of AI legislation proceedings keep rising. Okay, it's like, this is, I guess they're just reporting on the facts necessarily, but across 75 major countries, AI mentions in legislative proceedings increased by 21.3% in 2024, rising to 1889 from 1557 in 2023. Since 2016, the total number of AI mentions has grown more than 9-fold. Mine go up. I wonder where, I wish they, like, kind of broke it down by country. AI safety institutes expand and coordinate across the globe. In 2024, countries worldwide launched international AI safety institutes. The first emerged in 2023 in the US and the UK following inaugural AI Safety Summit, the AI Seoul Summit in May 2024. Additional institutes were pledged in Japan, France, Germany, Italy, Singapore, South Korea, Australia, Canada, and European Union. There are AI-related regulations in the United States. This one number is probably lower. The number of U.S. AI-related federal regulations skyrocket. In 2024, 59 AI-related regulations were introduced, more than double 25 recorded in 2023. These regulations came from 42 unique agencies, twice the 21 agencies that issued them in 23. I wonder if the agency level ones like are still, and like what they are. Because I think a lot of it is like them just like not using it, like saying that like not to use it in certain situations, and like that's kind of it. US states expand deepfake regulations. Before 2024, only 5 states, California, Michigan, Washington, Texas, and Minnesota, had enacted laws regulating deepfakes in elections. In 2024, 15 more states, including Oregon, New Mexico, and New York, introduced similar measures. Additionally, by 2024, 24 states had passed regulations targeting deepfakes. Yeah, I mean, this is like a pre-AI kind of thing, I guess. But this isn't directly related to AI, I guess, in my opinion. Not necessarily like generative AI. At least in the way that most people think about it. I think deepfake in a way is kind of a generative AI thing. State level laws regulating AI generated deepfakes in elections in US by state and status of 2024. I mean, it's in the elections. It's kind of very specific. Yeah. Legislation pending. Most states. Alright, there actually wasn't that much information here. Okay, education. Education, I feel like, is another good use case for AI. Like, my mom's a teacher, and she has, I think a good use case is like using it to help you like test students. So like coming up with unique test questions that are tailored to the student. That's where my mom has said has been good, is helping her come up with like questions to use for the what she teaches. But also just, I think just using it to learn in a way that is custom to you and is like fun. I don't know, I guess not everyone thinks learning is fun, especially when kids associate learning with sitting in a classroom and, you know, staring at a wall, like a fucking screen or a whiteboard, or like memorizing things and not necessarily like learning things in a more interactive way. Like, that's just not that fun. So with when you could use AI to help you learn in a fun way that's interactive, and doing things like role playing, using like the AI could act as a person at the the time for and whatever they're learning, and they could ask them questions. Like, it just, I don't know, I think it makes it more fun, which makes it easier to learn, which makes it kids want to learn. And we should want kids to learn. Benefits everybody. So okay, access to enrollment in high school computer science courses in the United States has increased slightly from the previous school year, but gaps remain. This also doesn't seem like it's more like a concentrate on computer science, but I guess that's just more so use cases for what I think AI could be used for. This is probably more so in like educating people to work in AI and to actually like develop AI. Student participation rates by state, race, and ethnicity, school size, geography, income, gender, disability. What was even the point of saying this? It's like, okay, like, obviously. Public schools teaching foundational CS. 95% in Nevada. Arkansas, Alabama. No offense to the like southern states, but I think they do have some catching up to do, so. Interesting. 100% in Maryland. Arkansas and Maryland are the only two with 100%. New Hampshire and Nevada. CS teachers in the US want to teach AI, but do not feel equipped to do so. Despite 81% of CS teachers agreeing that using AI and learning about AI should be included in foundational CS learning experiences, less than half of high school CS teachers felt equipped to teach AI. What is that like? I wonder what that like means, or like what does not being equipped mean? 2/3 of countries worldwide offer or plan to offer K through 12 CS education. The fraction has doubled. This fraction has doubled since 2019, with African and Latin America countries progressing the most. However, students in African countries have least access to CS education due to schools' lack of electricity. This is what we kind of looked at earlier. Graduates who earned their master's degree in AI in the US nearly doubled between 2022 and 2023. What is a master's degree in artificial intelligence? Is that like, I don't know what that is. Like, well, increased attention on AI will be slower to emerge, and the number of bachelor's and PhD degrees, the surge in master's degrees could indicate a future trend for all degree levels. Wonder why. I guess bachelor's is probably like, master's is probably because if you have a bachelor's, you could go back to school for master's, but you can't. It's not like you're gonna likely go back for another bachelor's. And you're probably continuing to do PhD, so if like you're not in a PhD program now, I don't know, that's kind of interesting. Except, I don't know, one of my calculus professor had like 9 college degrees from like some random school, and he was like so proud of it. It's like he has like, it was like a bunch of different engineering and like computer science shit, but it's like, or it was like engineering and math. It's like, bro, what's like, why? It's like he's just doing it just to get a higher number. New AI bachelor's and master's graduates in the United States, 2013, 2023. Is this like thousands, or is this number of new AI graduates? Literally just like 100. Like, what does this mean? AI bachelors. What would a degree in artificial intelligence look like when compared to computer science? I feel like they're just the same. Like, you need like similar skills, I guess. The US continues to be a global leader in producing information technology and communications graduates at all levels. That's good. Spain, Brazil, and the United Kingdom follow the US as the top producer at various levels, while Turkey boasts the best gender parity. Wow, Spain is next. That's interesting. Spain, Turkey, Canada, Colombia, France. Would not expect, this is 2022, so it's a little old, but still, I would not expect these to be up there. I'm surprised South Korea is down here. Considering how technologically advanced they are. Interesting. All right, chapter 8. Last chapter, actually. Public opinion. Okay, I've taken a look at we've taken a look at a lot of public opinion stuff on stream, so this will be interesting. World grows cautiously optimistic about AI products and services. Yeah, this sums up probably my opinion too, like cautiously optimistic. I'm still optimistic, and I'm still hopeful. I still use AI, I still want us to continue, but you know, there's definitely some caution to it. Mainly because of the trust. It's like we are putting a lot of trust in institutions whose is incentivized to make money, and that's just never a good combo. Among the 26 nations surveyed by Ipsos in both 2022 and 2024, 18 saw an increase in the proportion of people who believed AI products and services offer more benefits than drawbacks. Globally, the share of individuals who see AI products and services as more beneficial than harmful has risen from 52% in 2022 to 55% in 2024. That is tiny. That's a tiny growth. In the AI 2027 report, they predict that opinion is actually going to go down before it goes up. Sometimes things have to go down before we go up. I kind of agree with that, though. I don't know. I think as soon as people are going to see it as a threat. Like they like artists and shit, like they already see AI as a threat to their kind of livelihood and like career and such. And so it's like, that's, you know, as it disperses into other industries, like I think people will probably have similar feelings. Percentage point change in opinions about AI by country, percent agreeing with statement. percent agreeing with statement 2022 versus 2024. So is this a 3% increase? I think that's what it is. Like if we're taking here to here. What's this? This is Chile. 8% in India. 2% South Africa. Who's the highest? 11% in France. Francois. Germany. United States is 5%. I know which types of products and services use artificial intelligence. Netherlands, Poland, 0% in the United States. Products and services using artificial intelligence have profoundly changed my daily life in the past 3 to 5 years. Yeah, I can't imagine many people saying this. Products and services using artificial intelligence will profoundly change my daily life in the next 3 to 5 years. Yeah, this one, this is like the optimist. This is like the, see who's the most optimistic. Canada, of course. Canada's nice. Australia, Germany. Wow, India fucking hates AI. It's crazy. I imagine they would be a prime market, considering like how much we we like offshore a lot of like our like IT services. Like I've even in business intelligence analysts, like we worked with what's the word I'm looking for? Yeah, we work with like some consultants who were out of India. Like actually we worked with a lot of the vendors. No, not even vendors. What's the other one thing about? A lot of vendors we worked with were, had talent in India. And what we did was like IT tech stuff, like writing code, SQL, doing like database shit. That's interesting. US is 12%. Products and services using artificial intelligence make me nervous. Dang, this is by far the highest though. I wonder, like, I want to know more detail. Like, what makes them, like, what are they nervous about? I feel like sometimes they're just like nervous, but like, they're just like, about what? And there's like, I don't know. I think a lot of it's just change. A lot of people don't like change. And especially AI, when it could potentially take your job and do a change for the negative. Like, I could see that, but I guess, like, it says product services using artificial intelligence make me nervous. Like, nervous, what are you nervous about? The expectation and acknowledgement of AI's impact on daily life is rising. Around the world, 2/3 of people now believe that AI-powered products and services will significantly impact daily life within the next 3 to 5 years, an increase of 6 percentage points since 2022. Every country except Malaysia, Poland, and India saw an increase in the perception since 2022, with the largest jumps in Canada and Germany. Yeah, that makes sense right here. I have a good understanding what artificial intelligence is. I know which types of services use artificial intelligence. Okay, seems just like a continuation from up here. I trust people to not discriminate or show bias towards any group of people. Skepticism about the ethical conduct of AI companies is growing, while trust in the fairness of AI is declining. Yeah, the bias seems to be a big one. Globally, confidence that AI companies protect personal data fell from 50% in 2023 and 47% in 2024. Yeah, this is, I mean, yeah, they're gobbling up all data they can. Likewise, fewer people now believe that AI systems are unbiased and free from discrimination compared to last year. I have a good understanding of what artificial intelligence is. I know which types of products. This is like the same as up here, I swear. Products and services using artificial intelligence. Product services using artificial intelligence will profoundly change my daily life in the next 3 to 5 years. Dang, China strongly believes that. I trust artificial intelligence to not discriminate or show bias towards any group of people. I trust the companies that use artificial intelligence will protect my personal data. Bro, the United States is so low. And Japan. And Canada. Yeah, good. It's crazy that China is so high when, like, they are probably the worst for personal data. Products and services using artificial intelligence make me excited. Again, 80% China, 34% United States. See, like, this is more of a problem, honestly, about people just, like, trusting it than like, not AI safety. Definitely still not important, more important than, like, safety, but this, I feel like, should be up there with, you know, OpenAI and Anthropic, like, all the big tech companies, like, they should be wanting to build trust. Because they, like, it's big tech that we don't trust, and in turn, they're the ones making the AI, so it's like, yeah, we don't trust the AI. So I think this is a kind of a big problem. Product services using artificial intelligence make me nervous. Okay. And look, it's like so high in the United States. Much higher than global. Alright. Regional differences persist regarding AI optimism. First report in 2023, AI Index, significant regional differences in AI optimism persist. A large majority believe AI-powered products and services offer more benefits than drawbacks in countries like China, Indonesia, Thailand. In contrast, only a minority share of this view in Canada and the United States and Netherlands. What is this? So, excited, nervous. Yeah. Here's China. It's like we're on the opposite ends of the spectrum. Yeah, I hope that's not a foreshadowing. People in the United States remain distrustful of self-driving cars. But it's okay. It's so random. Yeah, bro, because again, Tesla, who's like kind of big tech, it's like recent American Automobile Association found that 61% of people in the US fear self-driving cars, and only 13% trust them, although the percentage who express fear has declined from its 2023 peak of 68% and remains higher than in 2021. I want to get like opinion surveys of specifically of like what companies. I feel like it's just because of Tesla self-driving. Like, there's a lot of Tesla accidents, and like, even though it's not like autonomous driving, it's still self-driving, which is like tangential, and like people just don't want to trust that. Afraid, unsure, trust. Thing. All right, there is broad support for AI regulation among local U.S. policymakers. In 2023, 73.7% of local U.S. policymakers spanning township, municipal, and county levels agree that AI should be regulated, up significantly from 55% in 2022. Support was stronger among Democrats than Republicans, although both registered notable increases over 2022. Local U.S. official support for government regulation by party. But I guess, like, what is regulation? Like, I don't like regulating what? I mean, it's obvious that Democrats support regulation, though they're usually more favorable towards regulation. And it's gone up. Crazy. It's also gone up from Republicans, though. It's a lot. Interesting. Oh, I see. So it's kind of like seesawed a bit here. It's gone like back and forth. Interesting. Okay. AI optimism registers sharp increase among countries that previously showed the most skepticism. Actually, we looked at this. Yeah. The United States is down there. Not only just by letters, not only in the alphabet, but in the data. Workers expect AI to reshape jobs, but fear of replacement remains lower. Globally, 60% of respondents agree that AI will change how individuals do their job in the next 5 years. However, a small subset of respondents, 36%, believe that AI will replace their job in the next 5 years. Yeah. 5 years is... I think, like, we won't get, like, real, true, like, mass job replacement until, like, 2030s. You know, like, I don't know. We have, like, other bottlenecks to figure out. I think the trust is going to be the hard part. AI will change how you do your current job in the next 5 years. AI will replace your job in the next 5 years. Somewhat likely is actually kind of high. Interesting. Sharp divides exist among local U.S. policymakers on AI local priorities. Oh, policy priorities. Okay, here we go. This is exactly what I was hoping to see. Well, local U.S. policymakers broadly support AI regulation. Their priorities vary. The strongest backing is for stricter data privacy rules. Bro, yes, this is a good one, actually. And I don't think this is like a slowdown type of regulation towards AI. Sure, there'll be some, you know, some friction, but like, we should want strong data privacy rules in general. Like, the fact that it finally took fucking AI like gobbling up every bit of data they could get to potentially get more data privacy laws, it's crazy. Retraining for the unemployed. Yeah, that'd be... just yesterday we were talking about retraining, because the EU is spending money for retraining, and I think we should just start spending money to learn how, like, what to train people on for AI, retrain people on, especially in industries that are likely eventually will take away the jobs. AI deployment regulations, however, support drops significantly for law enforcement facial recognition ban, wage subsidies for wage declines, and universal basic income. Yeah, Americans are selfish. If someone else, they don't want to give something to someone else unless they get it. And so it's like these universal basic incomes and like wage subsidies, like it would be so hard to pass because Americans are just way too selfish. Local U.S. officials views that AI policies would be beneficial for 2025 to 2050. Oh, okay. This is different. Agree. Never disagree. Disagree. Stricter data privacy regulations. Retrain for unemployed. AI deployment regulations. I wonder what the deployment regulations would be on. Stronger antitrust. Yeah, this one is hard. Because it's just big tech, and like they have their own antitrust problems outside of AI. So yeah, this one's a little more subjective. Parole and sentencing AI regulations. Yeah, we do not want AI determining parole and sentencing. We just covered that with the UK yesterday. Literally making Minority Report come to life. Fuck that. That is insane. Bias audits for hiring or promotion. AI is bias itself, so yeah, this one's like, I mean, this is like DEI. This would never get passed nowadays, so. No, actually, DEI isn't biased, I don't think. DEI is just like making sure that anyone could apply to the job. Not necessarily hiring. I think that's, yeah, anyways. Social safety net. Stronger social safety net. I mean, I think we should just increase that in general, so outside of AI. Federal regulation on local government AI. That's interesting. I guess this is kind of giving the answer I wanted earlier about like what the regulation would be. I just don't know if I trust the federal government right now to make the proper judgment call for AI. Semiconductor and AI hardware subsidies. I think that's good. We did have that. Trump tried to, trying to undo it. CHIPS Act. Higher corporate income tax. Trump is continuing the TCJA tax cuts or whatever it's called, which keeps corporate income tax low, so that's not going to get passed. Robot tax, I think it's too early for a robot tax. I also don't think that that's necessarily the best. A tax is the best way to solve it. It's like the Andrew Yang. Immigration reform for AI developers. Trump undid this again. I think we're having a reverse brain drain. I think this is actually kind of pretty important. Like, we want to retain the talent. We don't want the other China, Europe to poach AI talent from us. So I think this is important. Law enforcement facial recognition ban. I can't believe this is so low. Just straight up disagree. Fuck no, bro. This should be up here with data privacy regulations. Because this is the slippery slope that leads to, shit like this, the AI sentencing, bias. Like, this is a slippery slope. Wage subsidy for wage declines. I think we should just have this again outside of AI. And UBI, I think we should also just probably think about having this outside of AI. This one is by far the most disagreed. Yeah, people just hate giving out handouts, which is crazy when it benefits them. Like, people living good lives benefits everybody, and it's crazy that people want people to live worse lives. That is what they want. That's what they're saying, in a way, It's not that they're not working for it. It's no, they're selfish, they're jealous. They're like, I want it, they get money, I want it. It's like, okay, go be homeless. And then we'll give you this, it's like, okay, bro. Anyways, besides the point, AI is seen as a time saver. My point is, go be homeless, and then you could get, the benefits. It's like, it's not like it's, yeah. Anyways, AI is seen as a time saver and entertainment booster, but doubts remain on its economic impact. Yeah. I think it's more so, we've talked about this on stream. Sam Altman, Dario Modi, however you say his name, all the CEOs of the big AI companies are promising insane things like curing cancer, like immortality borderline, solving all like climate change, like all these problems that we haven't been able to figure out how to solve. But like, they're just straight up claiming and just saying that we're going to solve all these things. And it's hard for most people to imagine the steps from getting to ChatGPT, haha, tell me a funny joke, to solving cancer and aging in humans and climate change. Like, it's hard for people to make that jump. I'm not necessarily saying like Sam Altman or them are wrong, but I think that their timelines are way too aggressive, I think. But they don't give any detail or like explain anything about how we're going to get there, like what it's going to look like leading up to it. Like, there's other milestones we're going to have to get before we just fucking solve aging in humans and cure cancer. Like, I don't know. So I guess like the doubts on economic impact are likely because people are like, the hype bros are just like saying these insane shit, and then it's just like people are like, I don't believe that, and so then just in turn makes them doubt it more. And yeah, hype bros kind of ruin it for everybody, like, if I'm being real. Global perspective, and that's kind of like what I want to bring to this channel, is like, I hope I bring a more pragmatic take to like emerging technologies. And just technology in general. Really just in life. Global perspective on AI's impact vary. While 55% believe it will save time and 51% expect it will offer better entertainment options, Fewer are confident in its health or economic benefits. Yeah, and because this is this entertainment and saving time is all it really does right now. Like for most people. Like that's really what like ChatGPT like saves you time instead of like going to research something. You could ask ChatGPT, no, it'll pull it up, or it'll search the internet for you. Or like you could have fun with talking with it or using it as like a entertainment type of, device. Like that's what people use it for right now. So it's like that's just what people are, thinking of the future. 38% think AI will improve health, while whilst 36% of AI improve the national economy. 31% see a positive impact on the job market, and 37% believe it will enhance their own jobs. The economy in my country. Job market, my job. The amount of time it saves me to get things done. Entertainment, options. My health. Yeah. Everything's pretty low. Again, China is like so much more optimistic. That's like, I feel like that's just like important, and it's kind of sucks that the United States is so much further behind a lot of other like countries. Like even India, who like up above was like not that favorable, like at least believes more so that like it'll help the economy. Interesting. All right, that's it. We did, we only took a look at the key takeaways, but the actual one is like 400 pages. So if you want any more detail, link should be in the description. Go download it and take a look for yourself. Hope you learned something in watching this. I definitely got a better idea. I think the biggest takeaway I have of this is sentiment in China versus the United States towards AI. That seems to be one of the biggest takeaways. Everything else is kind of line go up. Yeah, I think the sentiment is important. This is also interesting too. I like the regulation stuff because I'm curious as to what that will be like once it comes time for us to take it more seriously. But all right, if you're watching this in a YouTube video, I stream Monday through Thursday, Friday optional stream around 9 a.m. and we cover tech news, corporate drama, like big tech drama. I focus on emerging technologies. So if you like that, subscribe and check out my stream 9 a.m. Pacific here on YouTube and also Twitch, both under Brady's Brain. I also have a newsletter. It'll be in the description. I'm trying to do that more consistently, but we'll get that going. So I appreciate everyone watching and tuning in. If you made it this far, leave a comment and name a cool fact. Share your key takeaway, the coolest thing you learned in the report. But I'll be back potentially tomorrow. Tomorrow's Friday, but I'm not sure. I don't think I'm going to stream tomorrow. If so, it'll be a chill stream, gaming or something, likely over on Twitch. So yeah, appreciate everyone listening, tuning in. If you did savor the whole thing, thank you so much. Please subscribe and like the video, and we'll see you in the next one. Bye. Also, I do cover a lot of reports like this, so if you enjoy research reports, then subscribe.